Alright, so we're checking out the latest new drone from EMAX. This is the Hawk Apex. This comes in two versions. You're seeing the 3.5 version in this video. They also sell a 5-inch version. 2004 motors. They come in 3 different KVs. On the 5-inch version, you get a 2400 kV and a 1600 kV for 4S and 6S. And the 3.5-inch version here comes with 3000 kV motors and only comes in a 4S option. The props here are actually 3.6 inches, so it's a new prop. It's called the Avia, and if you look at the old Baby Hawk 2 HD, it's a different prop. It's a 3.5-inch Avon prop, and here's a look at them side by side. And these new Avia props are, you can see there, it's a wider paddle there, and a little bit different pitch. And these are designed more for performance and power, and not as much for efficiency as the Avon props from the Baby Hawk 2 was more for efficiency and flight time. This is more for performance and racing, and that's the difference in the designs here. So top mounted battery here for more like cruising, maybe some freestyle, maybe a little bit of racing, but yeah, mainly tuned for flight time and efficiency with that Avon prop. Whereas this new design here has the bottom mounted battery, and while it has the same 3.5-inch or 3.6-inch props, these props are more designed for performance and power and speed. And the frame itself here, at least on the 3.5-inch version, it's 115 millimeters motor to motor in the horizontal and vertical direction here. So in this direction here, it's 115 millimeters. It's about 162 millimeters motor to motor, and it's a Truex frame. About 3.5 millimeters thick for the arms. About 3 millimeters thick for the top plate here, but then you have these cutouts that make it thinner in certain spots for weight. And then they've gone back to these little print designs on the carbon. And by the way, this is I guess you can call it a prototype. It's not a final release. It's basically review samples for the review videos. And so there's a few things that you'll notice that are probably gonna be different on the production versions, which I don't have, so I can't show you that. They mentioned that this print here is reversed. It's going to look different on the production version on the top plate, and the battery strap was way too big on the one I got, so I had to put my own battery strap in. I think other than that, everything else should be the same. I only got 2 spare props in my box and no other accessories. So for example, if you're looking for the firmware update cable for the HD0 Whoop VTX board here, that's not included. And by the way, yeah, this is, I haven't got to this part yet, but this has the new HD0 system in here, and I don't know if this is going to be available in Vista or DJI or analog. Obviously, it has the Whoop VTX here, which is the 25 millimeter Whoop style mounting VTX. So obviously some adapters would have to be needed for analog. And then I'm not sure if there's enough space here for Vista, and I'm not sure if there's mounting holes here. I suppose they could mount some. This might be 20 millimeter here, mounting for Vista here. Could hang from the top, maybe a naked Vista. But I haven't been told that there's other versions available. So I think it's only going to be coming in HD0, maybe in other versions later. So it comes with the Whoop style VTX board, 25 millimeters, 200 millimeters. And then you got the Nano Camera, the HD0 Nano Camera, which is maybe a run cam. It is a 16:9 camera, not the micro version, which comes in 16:9.43. I'll talk about that here in a second. And it comes with an Express LRS receiver. You got your receiver antenna mount here in the back. And the receiver's under the top plate here. And this print you can see right there. The target for Express LRS isn't out yet at the time of the recording of this video. It'll probably be there eventually. So if you want to do firmware updates on the receiver, it's not quite out yet, so a little bit early on that one. The flight controller here is an F7. It's an EMAX target. It's called EMAX F7, kind of generic. USB-C for the USB port here. I'm not entirely sure what the ESC rating is on here. It's more than adequate for these 2004 motors. I imagine it's probably somewhere around 30 amps, but that's just a guess. It wasn't specified to me. It wasn't in the specifications in the review sample, so I'm not really sure what that is. But probably, if you click the link in the description, it's going to be on the product page for sure, what the specs on the ESC are. So going back to the frame here quickly, it's a pretty basic design. You got your top plate and your bottom section here. It's not a single plate. It's in sections. So it's got this, basically this back arm and this front arm are identical. They're the same. That's symmetrical. And yeah, it looks like they're doing some sort of a sandwich thing here with this battery plate here where the battery sits. So a thinner plate here. And there's another plate that's up sandwiching the arms that's right there. And it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, that's that one right there where that's what the flight controller is mounted to. And this looks like that's what's holding these arms together. I didn't actually take the whole frame apart to see how they engineered this, but it looks like that's how they're doing it. And so basically the front arm and the back arm is one piece. So if you do break an arm here, and which you might do if you're racing, because it's got this nice big cutout here, and if you do break that, you'd have to replace the whole thing. But it doesn't look like it's too difficult to do. You got basically 4 screws here and a 5th screw for the flight stack. You should be able to swap that arm out fairly easily. But yeah, obviously they're trying to balance weight versus durability here with these cutouts. Obviously, I didn't crash test this into brick walls or anything like that. But I imagine if you're flying this in a race, you're hitting gates and you're probably on a soccer field or something like that. So not crashing into brick walls, but you know, it's stiff enough. I can't really twist this at all. It feels very rigid. I didn't feel any vibrations in flight. Did come with a PID tune, of course, out of the box, as all EMAX products do. My flight controller comes with the MTU 6000 gyro. I imagine probably by the time this goes into production, the BMI 270 gyro with a different PID tune is going to be available. And so, yeah, I'm not going to put the CLA dump in the description because I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is someone's going to get the BMI version and put it in my dump for whatever reason and burn a motor or something like that. That's actually happened several times. I've gotten complaints from viewers that they've taken some CLA dumps from my previous videos and put them into their quad and then said that they burned some motors because they don't have the same parts as me. So, you know, obviously, yeah, when you're dealing with CLA dumps, you got to know what you're doing, and apparently a lot of people are using them that don't know exactly how to use them, or what to do with them exactly to be safe. And so I'm not going to put that in there. So if you want a CLA dump for this board, you'll have to contact EMAX and tell them which kind of board you have, with which gyro you have, and they'll give you the latest version of their PID tune for the model that you have, in case you did something like accidentally deleted your PIDs or whatever, flashed the board. You know, people do that. Like, oh, first thing they do, instead of flying it, they flash Betaflight and then brick the board, and then they're screwed. So don't do that. Just comes with a PID tune with what you got in the, it's going to be better than pretty much anything you can do, and just go and fly it. Okay, so let's see how much this weighs here. This is 169 grams, 168.9. So they PID tuned this with an 854S. With this weight, it comes in at 268.7. But if you're concerned about the 250 weight limit, fly with this 4S650 instead, and you'll come in at 245.2. And I didn't notice too much of a difference on the lighter 650. Obviously, on the lighter battery, the PIDs are going to be a little bit different, so you might have to adjust it for the lighter battery in case you're going to be flying on that. And of course, you get a little bit less flight time. Flight time was pretty decent on this. It really depends on how hard you're pushing this quad, and you know, it varies, and also depends on the battery you're using as well, the quality of the battery. So it's going to range anywhere from as little as maybe 2 or 3 minutes if you're really going nuts on the battery, And if you're not quite as fast, perhaps you could stretch it out to as long as 4 or 5 minutes. It really depends on a lot of factors when it comes to these type of quads and your flying style. So it's going to give you a range there, and obviously that's a pretty big range, but that's kind of what I'm thinking this is going to do. Now, you notice here that this camera angle is super high. It is adjustable. Let's see if I can show you that. It's on a hinge here. You can go as low as that if you want to point at the ground, or as high as that. That's the maximum right there. Fluid, I think pretty much stock is like around here, somewhere in the middle. And if you're going to go faster, you're going to want to adjust the angle up more as much as possible, because this is the 16:9 camera, so the vertical field of view isn't as nice as the micro version of the HD0 camera, which is the 4:3 field of view and the wider vertical field of view. So yeah, that's the one thing is, like, when you're racing, you probably want the 4:3 camera, because you're gonna want that wider field of view, especially if you're on a track that has where you're gonna be varying your speed a lot. If you're not varying your speed a lot, it's gonna be fine. Just get it at the maximum angle and just go for it, send it, and you'll be going basically a constant speed the whole time. Then the angle is not going to matter as much. But if you're on a variable track, we have variable speeds, you're slowing down and going faster, then this is a little bit of a hindrance in terms of flying it to its maximum potential. So that's one thing that I think I would suggest, is switching the camera out to a 4:3 camera if you really need that maximum field of view. But this is mounted, the mount that's on this design is only for a nano size camera, 14 millimeters. So the micro camera won't fit in here anyway. I know there's the whoop camera that could possibly fit in here, and that does have the 4:3 sensor. So you could possibly switch it for that one if you really need that 4:3 sensor. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of this. We have the HD0 finally, and an EMAX product, and also Express LRS receivers. So they're definitely catching up and moving forward with the rest of the other manufacturers out there. Yeah, I'm not really much of a racer. I'm not really much of a racer in terms of skill or in terms of interest. But this flies fine. It has a platoon. I'm sure it's got a lot of potential for ultra lightweight racing, which is, I think, it could be a trend. I'm not sure how much of it is right now. And regarding the 5-inch version, I have no idea how that flies. You can leave some questions down there if you want regarding the 5-inch version. Obviously, you can see the picture in the box is the 5-inch version. I imagine it's probably going to be faster, and not sure if it's going to be more agile or not. Really depends on the prop they're using. Of course, I haven't flown it, so I can't really answer any questions regarding that. But if you do leave some questions about the 5-inch, maybe EMAX is watching the video and they could help answer some of those questions. So EMAX, if you're listening, if you see any of those questions down there regarding the 5-inch, go ahead and help me out and answer those questions. That's going to do it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.